right, now we're going to go to a few questions that came in via email this week, and the first one is up in Wisconsin. Alan, I have a question about too much nitrogen. I'm in southern Wisconsin, and we have had a few warm days, but it's getting pretty cool in the evenings, 40s to 50s. This past weekend, I threw down 3/4 pound of nitrogen per 1,000 of the Milorganite, and then I was going to put down some pre-emergent. What I forgot was the only prodiamine that I could get from the local store was a 3003 0.37% prodiamine. Most of the nitrogen was composed of urea containing nitrogen, and the bag said that 8% was slow release. I was going to put down 3 pounds per 1,000 to cover me for 3 months, but because I didn't want to put down too much nitrogen, it ended up being about 2.5 pounds per 1,000. In the end, my lawn got about 1.5 pounds of nitrogen per 1,000 square foot this weekend. My question is that too much nitrogen? I'm hoping that since Milorganite and some of my prodiamine mix is slow release, that it won't be a huge jolt to the lawn. As I follow up, the next time I throw down this pre-emergent, should I just skip that Milo app? Love the show and the podcast. All right. So I'm not gonna go too much into the fact that he's got a prodiamine product here that he put down at 2.5 pounds per 1,000. I'm not gonna go into that part. What I'm going to talk about, though, is the fact that he's asking about the nitrogen. So he's done the math here, and with the products that he has, he's put down 1.5 pounds of nitrogen per 1,000. Just so you guys know, as a standard, I typically recommend anywhere between 1/2 pound and 3/4 pound of nitrogen per 1,000 square feet. There are exceptions to that, and times when I will say you can push harder, and you can push up to 1 pound of nitrogen per 1,000 in the spring if you're somebody that's a little bit more advanced, and you want to grab something, and I'm using air quotes here, called starter fert, and you want to throw that down a little bit, and then throw some Milo down with it. I'm okay with you going up to 1 pound of nitrogen per 1,000. Maybe even 1.25 if you're somebody, again, that knows what you're doing. You want to throttle it up in the beginning of the year. You want to get a good bang. And I'm also okay with 1 pound to 1.25 pounds per 1,000 of nitrogen in the fall time in conjunction with your aeration overseed, as long as a good portion of that nitrogen is a slow release like Milorganite. So all of that coming in to say that we are going to be just fine here. I think you pushed a little bit hard. You pushed definitely harder than I would want. But I will tell you that back in the early days, when I was a little bit more cowboy than I am now, I used to push 1.5 pounds of nitrogen per 1,000 in the spring. I used to tell people to do that, and I may even have videos where you can see me doing it. I don't know, because they're really old, but I did used to push a lot. I mean, the ebook and the e-guide that's available at thelawcarenut.com, that e-guide that we sell, that is not the first iteration of it. It's the second iteration of it here on this particular channel but I actually wrote that many, many years ago. And it was only like 10 pages, but it was a really simple start to what you have now that's well over 100 pages. But either way, back then I was pushing mass amounts of nitrogen, quite a bit more. And so with that being said, I'm going to tell you that you're going to be just fine, but I don't recommend you do that again, and I think you know that. As far as your second application that you do have coming up, I would make sure that you get that prodiamine down, which is going to have that fert in there. So put down your full 3 pounds a 1,000, get that down, and leave the Milo out or other fertilizer out until the next time after that, when you feel like the lawn is needing a feeding. That's when you can put the Milo down later on after you put down that second application of the prodiamine. So hope that helps you out there in southern Wisconsin.